A pleasant good day to everyone. We are on today's topic about the operations of sets, considering the idea of the best illustration of Venn diagram. So we shall now focus on interpreting sets, operations of sets, considering Venn diagram. We all know John Venn exists from August 4, 1834 up to April 4, 1923. John Venn was an English mathematician, logician who invented the Venn diagram. This diagram clearly shows the similarities of and differences for two different sets. It is a visual way to represent sets and their unions and intersections. So Venn's diagram were first published in 1880 in Philosophical Magazine and Journal of Science. Venn's article was called On the Diagrammatic and Mechanical Representation of Proposition and Reasoning. Venn diagrams are very useful in showing the relationship between sets, which consist of rectangle represents the universal set and a circle or circles inside the rectangle to represent the set or sets. Being considered in the discussion, it is understood that the elements in each set are inside this circle to represent the set. For example, given that the universal set contains the elements of the names of Arnold, Ben, Carlos, Dennis, Efren, Fred, Gerald, Henry, Isaac, and Joseph, while set A composed of Arnold, Carlos, Dennis, and Henry only. In set B, we have also elements of Carlos, Dennis, and Joseph. So, use Venn diagram to represent each. For letter A, you are required to find A union B. Letter B, you are required to find A intersection B. C, finding the difference between A minus B. Letter D, to find the complement of A. Letter E is to find the complement of B, while F, you have to find the complement of the intersection between A and B. For letter G, you're required to find the intersection of the complement of B and complement of and complement of B. And for H, you are required to find the union, the complement between the union of set A and B. So here we try to show a detailed representation of such relationship. For letter A, finding A union B. So we must have to compare and recognize, of course, the elements involved in A as well as in set B. When we say union based on the definition that we have discussed before, you just enumerate or rewrite all the elements involved in the comparing sets. And of course, common elements in sets, you have to write it once. So that should be remembered and implement accordingly. So in this case, A union B is equal to the elements of Arnold, Carlos, Dennis, Henry, and Joseph. So in the next slide is the Venn diagram presentation between the union of two sets for you to understand deeply more about the relationship between the union between A and B. Okay. So we represent two intersecting circles for set A and set B. Since Carlos is common as well as Dennis, so they should be put here in the common area between the two intersecting circles. While Arnold and Henry will be the remaining elements in A only. And so with Joseph as the remaining element in B only. Okay. So I think it's stated there the explanation above Venn diagram. The shaded region of set A and set B with their common elements is the answer for the union of set A and B. So in the Venn diagram, we particularly shown the correct illustration of the union between two sets, meaning we are shading all the areas inside the two intersecting circles. So that means to say whatever elements is inside, those are the union of the two sets. To continue, letter B, you're required to find the intersection between A and B. Again, using the same sets, elements in a set of A, and so with B. So, by the way, in intersection, just identify exactly the common elements between the two sets. So, it should be represented by the next slide. So, in this case, the intersection between two sets A and B are the names of Carlos and Dennis. So how are we going to put this into a Venn diagram? We chose like that. We are only shading the intersecting area between the two circles. And that means to say that the intersection and the included names are Carlos and Dennis only. For letter C, you're required to find the difference between A and B. So, in finding the difference, you should always consider that even in the idea of the operation of subtraction, the first mention should be the minuend and the second mentioned term will be subtrahend. So, in that order. That restriction should be observed accordingly. So we would consider that as well in determining the idea of the difference between the two sets. So in this case, the difference are, so we must have, since A is considered as the minuend, so I think the symbol here is should be corrected. This will be minus A minus B. So in finding the difference, observe whatever is in A, not in B, that should be the difference. Okay? So by comparing B from A, so Carlos is common, Dennis is common, Joseph is not, is not. But in this case, since A is considered as a minuend, so we will consider the names or the elements not included in the common elements. And these are the names of Henry and Carlos. Again, we will change that symbol there later. So in the slide, you'll notice that the shaded area are those elements in A only. So that includes the names of Arnold and Henry. Letter D. You're required to find the complement of A. So when we say complement, the letter that is concerned or the set that is concerned should be compared to the universal set. So it is very simple. Whatever are number or elements not common between universal set and set A, so those are the complements of set A. So in this case, set A, we have Arnold, Carlos, Dennis, and Henry. So as we compare it with the universal set, so the names which are not included there, we have Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, and Joseph, and Isaac. So these are the A complement to set. So how are we going to show this in a Venn diagram? Okay. So considering the complement, meaning those names which are not included in A. So looking at the illustration here based on the general given, Joseph is in set B. He is also part of the universal, but particularly inside in set B. So in this case, class, you'll notice that the universal rectangular set is shaded as well as the value the part of the circle of B. So Joseph is only in B, but the rest of the elements is already outside. Is outside the circles. So those are the complement of A. These are the names included Joseph. Next, for B complement. So we directly compared set B to the universal set, considering the names of Carlos, Dennis, and Joseph. So just eliminate the names or the elements of common from B in the universal set, and the remaining would be the complement. So the complement of B are names of Arnold, Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, Henry, and Isaac. So you will notice that in this case, reverse. The shaded area includes the universal set outside and set A. Meaning, these remaining names should be put exactly to its equation. And notice that Arnold and Henry is mentioned in A, so we'll put it there, and the rest will be in the universal area. So shaded. So B is not shaded in this case. Okay. For letter F, you are required to find the complement of the intersection between A and B. In this case, you should have to recognize first the intersection between A and B. So again, intersection, find the common elements, and these are Carlos and Dennis. Since these two names are the intersection between set A and set B, to find its complement, you have to compare these to the universal set. They eliminate the name of Carlos and Joseph, and the remaining names in the universal set would be the complement of the intersection between A and B. And these are Arnold, Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, Henry, Isaac, and Joseph. So in Venn diagram illustration, you'll notice that the unshaded area is only the intersecting area between the two sets. So all the rest are the complement of the intersection between A and B. And these are the names of Arnold, Henry, Joseph, Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, and Isaac. Next, we have the complement of A intersection, the complement of B. So what we're going to do is to compare first each set to the universal set, finding its complement. For A, the complement of A are Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, and Joseph. For B, by comparing set B to universal set, the complement of B are Arnold, Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, Henry, and Isaac. So that the intersection between the complement of B, A and B are Ben is common between A, complement of A and complement of B. Efren, also common. Fred is also common. Gerald is also common. And Isaac. So how would we put this into a Venn diagram illustration? So in this case, you'll notice that the complement, the intersection between the complement of A and B, complement of B, the whole intersecting circles are unshaded. The only shaded area is the universal set. And these are the names involved. Those names outside the intersecting sets are the intersection between the complement of A and complement of B. For the last requirement, finding the complement of the union between A and B. So, to find the union between A and B, you have to enumerate all the elements involved. So, no repetition. So, to find its complement of the union between A and B, you have to compare this union to the universal set. So, eliminating the names common between universal and the A and union B elements, so that the remaining would be the complement of the union between A and B. These are Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, and Isaac. So, to show this in illustration, look like this. So, the same thing as letter G. The name outside the intersecting set. So Ben, Efren, Fred, Gerald, and Isaac. So I think it will be enough for you. The information is enough for you to perform this activity. Time is given for you to perform this. By the way, we will continue. So I put here the answers to the activity number 1 in this topic for you to be guided accordingly. Okay? Let's proceed to example number 2. Given the universal set, again, the same. But there are 3 intersecting sets here, or there are 3 sets involved, including the universal set. We have set A, set B, and set C. So I think names are being identified accordingly here. So we should observe always, or we should refer our way of interpreting the requirement from the given sets. So the instruction is to use Venn diagram to represent. Okay. Letter A, you're required to find A union B union C. For letter B, you are required to find the union between set A and set C. Letter C, you're required to find the intersection between set B and set C. D, you're required to find the difference between the intersection of A and C by B. Okay, for letter A, considering the union between set A, set B, and set C, you can directly compare Again, avoid rewriting the elements. You have to write it once in enumerating the union between the three sets. So, we have Arnold, Carlos, Dennis, Gerald, and Joseph as the union between three sets A, B, and C. And the illustration follows in this manner. So, you'll notice that of all the elements involved, Dennis is the only name or element common in the three sets. So, what will appear here in the illustration of the three intersecting circles, Dennis would be put in the center or the common between three sets. Okay? Next. It will be followed by another common. We have common between A and B only is Carlos. Of course, Dennis also. So it will appear in the illustration that if Dennis is the center, the intersection between A and B only is where you are going to put Carlos. So in the intersection between B and C is Dennis and Joseph serve as the intersection or the common elements. So they will also appear in this manner. Dennis at the center, Joseph only as common between C and B only. Talking about A and C, there is no common between them except Dennis. Okay. Now, why is it that there is no remaining element in set B only? Because all the elements in B is common between A, so with C. So that should be observed accordingly. While the rest, not mentioned in the intersection between set A, B, and C, are the names of or the elements of Ben, Ephraim, Fred, and Isaac. So they will be in the universal set outside. Okay. For the next requirement, you're required to find the union between A and C. And these are the names of Arnold, Carlos, Dennis, Gerald, Henry, and Joseph. So how it will appear in the illustration, we are already concerned on the union between A and C. So notice that Joseph and Carlos, even though they are common between A and B, so with C and B, Joseph, they are also a part of set A and set B, set C. So they will be recognized also. So the illustration look like this one. And what is outside? We have Ben, Ephraim, Fred, and Isaac. Next, the intersection between B and C. Again, considering the universal set and set A, B, C, of course. Even though we are only comparing B and C, but the rest of the sets given as well as the universal set should be recognized accordingly in the representation of the Venn diagram. So then their intersection between B and C are elements Dennis and Joseph. Okay. So notice that all the rest are, we are talking about intersection, all the rest are shaded and not being mentioned. What is being mentioned here are only the names of Dennis and Joseph. Because these are the names common between set B and C. Next, for the intersection between A and C. So we have Dennis only. So how it will appear in the... So Dennis... Sorry. There's no common between A and C. So what we are going to do, since Dennis is in the center, so no common between A and C, it's an empty set. So just shade the area. Okay? So comparing A, by the way, the requirement in D is to find the intersection between, the difference between the intersection of A and C by B. So, the section between A and C is Dennis. To be subtracted with B. So, since common and name of Dennis, so the difference is none. So, it's an empty set. So, what we're going to do in Venn diagram is just shade only the area. Meaning no name involved. Again, you are given ample time to perform activity number 2. To evaluate your knowledge about the early discussion. I think that will be all for this audiovisual presentation. And this is your teacher, Cedric A. Borres.